What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Moneyball to Glory. Today we've got a transfer special heading into Season 2. Now, before we get into today's video, I did want to thank all of you that sent me some pretty nice messages over the past week, because last week had an accident, had a bunch of cuts and bruises and everything all over my body. I'm healing pretty well. Also have a minor concussion, so that's why I'm wearing different glasses. These are blue light glasses, so I'm able to work and get some of these videos out for you guys until I am back to 100%. But I'm feeling better. Thank you for all the nice messages. And yeah, I guess without further ado, let's go ahead and get into today's video. So, going into Season 2, I was hoping we were going to be able to keep basically a vast majority of everyone that we ended up finishing Season 1 with. We basically did, except for 2 outgoings, like 2 permanent sales. And they were both massive players and both went to the same team. One of them was defensive midfielder Sheikh Doucouré. Ended up selling him to Tottenham for what will end up being £59 million. He was kicking up a hissy fit. He wanted to leave, and he was going to become unsettled if we did not allow him to leave. He was also not wanting to sign a new contract, which was driving me nuts. So we ended up cashing in on him while we could. Then the other is the man that graces the cover of today's video on the thumbnail. It is Mr. Ebery Eze. He ended up also going to Tottenham for what will eventually be £69 million. And he is another player that was kicking up his fit. He had been doing it like the entire second half of the first season, wanting to go to Tottenham. And it was unfortunate, but we ended up having to let him go. But we have well over £100 million because we had £57 million to work with in the first place. And I believe it would be around $160 million. I would be able to kind of bring in some replacements and fill out the areas that we need to fill out, and depth-wise as well. So we've got money to play with, and we have got some big players incoming. So how we're going to do this is I'm going to basically go from the most expensive player all the way down to the least expensive player, which actually was a player on a free. And the most expensive player actually was at that 20 million cap that I want to kind of stay 20 million and below at. We paid £20 million for Mr. Anthony Rouault. He was putting up absolutely amazing numbers. He's young as well. He's 24 years of age. So we have him back there with Koita Kura as well as Bisek and Chris Richards. We also have Mr. Zeno DeBast and the kid that I got from the Swiss League as well. So we've got some pretty good center back options, and a lot of them are versatile and can play multiple positions. Next up is a youngster that is incredibly versatile. It is Mr. Fairman from Barcelona. We ended up bringing him in for, I think it was around 16.25 million. Absolutely fantastic young player to have. He can play anywhere through the midfield, anywhere in the attacking mid, as well as a number 9. So we've got options there with him, and at 22 years of age, he's going to be a beast for us, I have a feeling. Also, really quickly, with these signings, I went about it a different way than I did in Season 1, and I'm trying to test a theory. So this season's all about testing a certain recruitment theory that I've actually learned from another game that I've been playing, a sports game as well. So I will hit on that once I've shown all of you all of our signings. Next up is Mr. Raul Bellanova. We ended up bringing him in from Italy for around $15.5 million. Another player, very versatile, could play up and down that left side, up and down that right side, or at center back. 6'1", very solid player, very solid numbers. Once again, with how I do the recruitment, they're all on a short list. I'll be linking that short list down below. You guys can check out those numbers, as well as the short list that has all of our signings so far from these transfer specials as well. But this dude is an absolute beast, and he brings 2 things that I need with my wingbacks, and that is acceleration and pace. He is very well-rounded as well, and that is what I was looking for. And at 25 years of age, why not bring in someone that can literally do anything I need him to do up the right and up the left. Next up, we've got our first Wonder Kid signing, which you will see that he is actually currently out on loan right now at Coventry City. It's Mr. João Rego. We brought him in from Benfica. He played for the Benfica B side, and this is kind of me gambling on him having success. I know what he is capable of. I have him in another save as well. He's absolutely fantastic. And I mean, for I think it was 12.5 million pounds, what we're going to be able to get from him once he starts to develop and really kind of grow into a player that can play up top or on the wings or as a 10, central midfield, whatever it might be. As you can see, he is 20 years of age and is very versatile as Furman is. So he is going to be a absolutely amazing signing, and I mean, you already see numbers that he put up through 1 start and 2 sub appearances with Coventry. He is a very creative player, so that is one reason why I wanted to bring him in. He has pretty high determination and flair as well, but I mean, at 20 years of age, he has the building blocks to be an absolute superstar for us. And even though I brought in Raul Bellanova, I went and got Alexander Ba as well from Benfica. They had him transfer listed for 11.25 million, and that was far cheaper than what they wanted in season 1, because he was one of my main targets in season 1. We ended up not being able to get him because they wanted around like 30 something million. They ended up transfer listing him for 11.25. So I was like, you know what, we're going to bring him in this time. And he's another player, very versatile, can play all up and down that right side. He can even play as a striker. And he is, once again, someone with acceleration and pace. Very solid player, very good numbers. And being able to rock with him and Bellanova on that right side is both can play right back. Both can play right midfield as we're playing that 4-4-2. That is a good 1-2 punch to have for us. Next up, we've got someone that was actually transfer listed from a relegation side. It's Mr. James Justin of Leicester City. Another player, very versatile. He can play right back, left back, center back, defense midfield, or even central midfield. He's not completely comfortable playing there, of course, but he can do it. Very well-rounded player. That's what I wanted. But he is 27 years of age. He is one of the older players I brought in, but with experience comes good footballing knowledge, and that is what we need. And I know that he is going to be very capable wherever I end up utilizing him. All right, with this one, we return to Italy at Napoli. They transfer listed this player. I was trying to get him in the first season as well. It is Mr. Jesper Lindstrom. I think he is actually the only player that isn't on the statistical shortlist that I have, him and then the free signing as well. But they are both absolutely fantastic players, and the versatility shows it with Mr. Jesper Lindstrom. He can play everywhere except the back line and goalkeeper. So he is going to be very, very good for us. I absolutely love that he loves big matches and he's consistent, and he's another player with pace. You look at the attacking attributes right here. Yes, we can't see the numbers, but we know very well rounded. Also very well rounded with possession as well. So he is going to be a very solid player, and at 25 years of age, what's not to like about that? For 4.9 million pounds as well, because you can see he's already valued at 16.5 to 20 now. Coming up, we've got 2 absolute studs. One is our second Wonder Kid today. I believe it was only 2 Wonder Kids I ended up bringing in, but we went to Rosenborg in Norway, and we got Sphere Halseth Nypen. Now, he was putting up great numbers in season 1, great numbers in season 2. They played a different part of the year, so I was able to basically see 2 seasons of what he is able to do, and he is absolutely unbelievable. We all know that. He's one of the best Wonder Kids in the game, but he also puts up the numbers to kind of help hit that home, drive it home on why he is a great Moneyball option as well, because we brought him in for 4 million pounds. So he is going to be an absolute stud. Once again, very versatile player, very well rounded. He is going to be one of our starting midfielders this season, as we have lost Cenk Doucouré. So he is going to get plenty of playing time wherever it may be, whether it's defense midfield, central midfield, or even on that right or left wing. And now with this signing, we go back to Italy in the Serie B to the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It is Mr. Lorenzo Luca, who is a 6'7" masterpiece of a striker. Remember in season 1 when I said I would rather bring in 3 strikers for the price of 1, and that price of 1 was Lorenzo Luca? They wanted around 21, 23 million pounds for him. They ended up transfer listing him for 3.7. I ended up having to pay 4 to get him. So we actually ended up making out in the long run way better off by holding out a year. So we're going to have a 6'7" beast that is incredible in the air, great heading ability, very solid attacking ability, was putting up some amazing numbers in the Serie B. And I know that the Serie B going to the Premier League, that is going to be a drastic adaptation for him. But I think he can do it. And playing up top with Mr. Francisco Trincao or Thiago Almada, DeAndre Nibelio, who's 6'5" as well. We'll have 2 giants up there. I think those 4 options are going to be pretty darn good. And then now we have our final signing, and that is the free signing, which we brought in Mr. Casey McAteer from Leicester City. They ended up not re-upping his contract. At 23 years of age, can play every position besides defensive midfield, center back, and goalkeeper. He is going to be a fantastic depth option, and I love him having that high work rate, because if you can bring on someone with high work rate later in the game when you need some fresh legs, he is going to outwork everyone else out there. So this was a very, very good and smart signing, because he was putting up some decent numbers as well. And on a free, you can't pass that up. I mean, getting a 23-year-old that's able to play all these positions, you definitely need to look to bring in a player like that. So, with all those signings, this is how the team currently looks. This is how I am at least going to play it in our first match, which is actually against Chelsea. And I'm fairly confident in this side. I think that we will have a much better season. I have a lot of players that complement each other and a lot of players that are very versatile. And there is a reason for that, which I'll get to in a moment. We have players that can basically play everywhere at any given time, and having players that can play defensive midfield to a number 10 or central midfield up to a striker, or even players that can play from a right back all the way up to a striker. Like we've got options, we've got youth, we've got speed, we've got work rate and determination in this side, and we're going to basically do our best to outwork everyone else, especially with this 4-4-2 system, because we'll be using this adapted version of my Kaiju 4-4-2 as well as this one, which is the OG version of it. And then the other tactic that I still have in place is the 4-2-3-1 target practice. So we'll probably see a mixture of these throughout the season. I may end up having to make some others as well to get the most out of certain teams, but I hope that we can go on a cup run like we did last season, because I think with a group like this, young, hungry, quick, very solid all around, I think that we can go on a cup run on either the Carabao Cup or the FA Cup, as we did get to the FA Cup semifinal last season. But now, real quick, why have I brought in all these versatile players? It is based upon a recruitment method that I want to try out, and it is due to another sports game that I've been playing. If any of you know American football, you know that college football is absolutely massive over here, and in NCAA football, you have to recruit players to your colleges, and there is a player type. There we go. I can English. That's a concussion playing with my brain right there. There is a player type known as the athlete. Athletes can literally play any position. That is what I am kind of looking to do for this season with Crystal Palace. I want players that can almost play any position. Plug and play them wherever it may be, and they're going to perform. Because we saw that last season. I mean, Trincao's a winger, Thiago Almada's a 10. We were playing them as strikers, and they were doing absolutely fantastic. So we were also playing players in roles that they may not be perfectly comfortable with, like Capaldo, and he ended up being my personal player of the season. So we'll definitely see it work. It might not work for some players, but I'm hoping that it's definitely going to work above and beyond what I think it can possibly do. Also, 2 more things really quickly. I forgot to hit on this. With this squad overall, there are 2 remaining original squad members from the side that I had to play my first game with, essentially. So the first player is Mr. Chris Richards. He is still here, can play center back or right back for us. And then the other is Mr. Dean Henderson. Those are the two that are left. And thankfully, they don't really want to leave. I thought I was going to lose Dean Henderson to Al Ittihad or Al Nasser, but he ended up staying, so that is pretty nice. And then the other thing I want to hit on is our loans. We have quite a few players out on loan right now, mainly to make sure that they're developing, but also potentially getting back in form, like a Mr. Josh Sargent. We need him getting back in form. David Pereira da Costa, same thing there. Brandon Soapy, same thing. Daniel Munoz, I'm hoping to sell on from his loan. We got Hajdari out on loan. Friedel also hoping to sell on from his loan. Adam Wharton's out on loan because I didn't see him getting playing time over Udraugo with how Udraugo was playing last year. Rego, we already know he's on loan at Coventry. Chogwei Sung ended up loaning out to Leicester, so we'll see what he can do in the championship, and he actually already has a goal. So that is pretty good for us. And Hajdari actually already has an assist, so that's nice to see. But there we have it for today's episode with the second transfer special of the series. If you guys want to check out how I do my recruiting and all that with the Moneyball style, I have a short list that'll be linked down below in the description on Google Spreadsheets that you guys can check out. And then I will also have the one that has all of our transfers that we've gotten so far from the transfer specials as well. So you can take a look at what these players were putting up, especially Lorenzo Luca. He was putting up some incredible numbers, and Joao Rego, same thing there with him. And once again, thank you for all the kind words and well wishes from all of you wishing me a speedy recovery and all that. I definitely appreciate that big time. This community is awesome. Absolutely love you all. But wherever you guys are in the world, please have a great rest of your day / evening. And also, if you did enjoy today's video, please feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Subscribing is 100% free, so hit the sub button. Right now on screen will be popping up all the most recent episodes of this series so you guys can catch up. But until next time, everyone, have a good one. Bye-bye.